Good morning students. Today we are going to see the continuation of Unit 1 Vijayanagar and Bahmani Kingdom. So in that we are going to see the Vijayanagar administration. Kingship was hereditary based on the principle of primogeniture. So kingship continued from the hereditary and it is based on the primogeniture. Primogeniture is nothing but mother side. So the mother side hereditary will be ascending the kingship. Saluva Narasimha usurped the throne. After the death of Devaraya II, there were many quarrels between the kings of Vijayanagar administration. So making use of this situation, the chief commander Saluva Narasimha made use of this situation and he ascended the throne, and that it came to the end of Sangama dynasty and the Saluva dynasty started to rule from there. Next we are going to see the structure and governors of Vijayanagar administration. So how the governors has been divided? The empire was divided into mandalams, provinces, nadus, district, stalas, taluk, gramas, village. Lowest unit of administration was village. So the lowest unit in the administration government according to Vijayanagar was the village. So beyond that taluk, after that district, and then only the provinces. It has huge army consisting of infantry, cavalry and elephant crops. So the Vijayanagar army is a huge army. It had many modernized fire equipments and firearms. So many kingdoms was very afraid of the Vijayanagar administration and their army because it had many modernized firearms. So the Vijayanagar empire has modernized firearms. Next, we are going to see the economic condition. The Vijayanagar empire was one of the richest state known to the world. Several foreign travelers visited the Vijayanagar empire during the 15th and 16th centuries behind the glowing account of its splendid wealth. The emperor issued a large number of gold coins called varahas. So, the Vijayanagar emperor issued a large number of gold coins, and that was called varahas, and that has been depicted in the picture. Next, we are going to see the agriculture practice that has been followed in the Vijayanagar administration. So, it was a policy of rulers to encourage agriculture in different parts of the kingdoms. So, many rulers encouraged the agriculture policies and there were many wise irrigations. So, irrigation is nothing but water supply to the plants. Apart from the state, there were many wealthy landholders and temples that invested in irrigation to promote agriculture. So there were many landholders, so they encouraged agriculture and invested in irrigation in order to promote the agriculture. Abdur Razak, the visiting Persian emissary to Krishnadevaraya court, records the huge that has been built with the help of Portuguese mason. So since Vijayanagar empire practiced many agriculture policy and it has constructed many irrigation tank. So the Abdur Razak, the Persian emissary, with the help of Portuguese mason, built a huge tank for agriculture. Channels were constructed to supply water from the tank to different parts of the city. The city was well stocked with a variety of agriculture goods. So since they encouraged many agricultural policy and built a huge irrigation tank, the city was well stocked with a variety of agricultural goods. Next we are going to see about cottage industry. Vijayanagar agriculture production was supplemented by a number of cottage scale industries. So the most important among the cottage industries were textile, mining and metallurgy. Crafts and industries were regulated by guilds. So there were guilds who regulated the craft and industries. Abdur Razak make a reference to separate guild for each group of tradesmen and craftsmen. Next, we are going to see how the Vijayanagar empire have contributed to the literature. So under the patronage of Vijayanagar rulers, many religious as well as secular books were written in different languages. So many religious and secular books were written in different languages such as Sanskrit, Telugu, Kannada and Tamil. Krishnadevaraya wrote Amukta Malyada, an epic in Telugu, and also a Sanskrit drama, Jambavati Kalyanam. The next thing we are going to see is how Vijayanagar Empire have contributed to the architecture. The temple building activity depicts the Vijayanagar rulers' style, and that was called Vijayanagara style. So the activity and the temples depict the style of the Vijayanagar. Prominence of pillars and piers in large numbers. So there were many pillars and piers that depicts the Vijayanagar cultures and traditions. And these sculptures hallmarks show the style of Vijayanagar emperor. Horse was the most common animal that was depicted on all the pillars. So horse was the animal that was depicted on the pillars. The structures have a mandapam, that is open pavilion, with a raised platform that is used for sitting the deity on special occasions. So on many special occasions there were structures called mandapams. These temples have a huge marriage hall with elaborately carved pillars. So they have marriage hall with elaborated carved pillars. Next we are going to see how the Bahmani kingdom have risen. Foundation of the Bahmani kingdom. Alauddin Asan, also known as Hasan Gangu, seized. So he seized the Daulatabad and declared himself the Sultan under the title of Bahman Shah in 1347. The Turkish officer of Daulatabad was supported by other military leaders in rebellion against the Sultan of Delhi. So Alauddin Asan seized the Daulatabad and declared himself as the title of Bahman Shah. As they want to fight against the Muslim leaders Muhammad bin Tughlaq, in 2 years Alauddin Asan Bahman Shah shifted his capital to Gulbarga. So from Daulatabad he shifted his capital to Gulbarga. His successor found it difficult to organize a stable king even around Gulbarga. So after shifting, it was very difficult to make them as a stable city, Gulbarga. So the capital was again shifted to Bidar in 1429. So from Gulbarga it has been shifted to Bidar in 1429. There were 18 monarchs of Bahmani dynasty. So first it was Daulatabad, second it has been shifted to Gulbarga, third it has been shifted to Bidar in 1829. Alauddin Asan Bahman Shah. He ruled for 11 years. So from 1347 to 1358, he has ruled 11 years the Bahmani kingdom. His attempt to exact an annual tribute from the state of Warangal. So he wanted an annual tribute from the Warangal, state of Warangal. The Reddy kingdoms of Rajmundri and Kondai Veedu led to frequent wars. So he led many frequent wars against the Reddy kingdom of Rajmundri and Kondai Veedu. Next we are going to see about Muhammad Shah. He ruled between 1358 to 1375. So he succeeded Alauddin Shah. He waged 2 wars with Vijayanagar. So he waged war against the Vijayanagar Empire for 2 times but could not gain from it. But his attack on Warangal in 1363. So attack and Warangal in 1363 earned him many property and wealth, including the important forts of Golconda and treasure Turkish throne, which therefore became the throne of Bahmani king. So Muhammad Shah in 1363 he waged a war on Warangal and held many properties and wealth, including the important forts of Golconda. Muhammad Shah laid a solid foundation for the kingdom. His system of government continued even after. Successor of Muhammad Shah I. So Musjid is nothing but he was son of Muhammad Shah and he ascended the throne after Muhammad Shah I. So after Muhammad Shah I, his son Musjid ascended the throne to Gulbarga, but he was assassinated and the nephew of the conspirator. So his uncle was assigned as enthroned into throne in 1378 as Muhammad II. So his uncle enthroned in 1378 as Muhammad II, and his reign was peaceful. His kingdom was peaceful, and the Sultan spent much of his time building his court as a center of culture and learning. After the assassination of Muhammad Shah's son Mustaq, his uncle was declared as Muhammad II, and he occupied the throne in 1363. So next we are going to see about Muhammad Khan. He was greatly inspired by Alauddin Shah because of his wisdom and military conquests. Gawan was known for his military campaign as well as administrative reforms. He used Persian chemists to teach the Bahmani army about the preparation and the use of gunpowder. So he was the one who taught the use of gunpowder with the help of the Persian chemist. In his war against the Vijayanagar kings he used gunpowder. So during the Vijayanagar war against in Belgaum, he used gunpowder in order to tighten the administration and to curb the power of provincial governors. So Gawan divided the existing 4 provinces of the Bahmani Sultanate into 8 provinces, so has to limit the area under the rule of each. So Gawan divided the 4 provinces into 8 provinces. So to limit the area under the rule of each governor and to make provincial administration more manageable. So all the governors need to be take care under the 8 provinces. After the death of Muhammad Gawan, Muhammad or Sihabuddin Muhammad reigned as the Sultan until his death in 1588. So after the death of Muhammad III, the Bahmani kingdom declined. So there were no prominent rulers to rule the Bahmani kingdom. After him, 4 of his successors on the throne were kings only in name. During the period, the Sultanate gradually broke up into 5 independent Deccan kingdoms. So after the death of Muhammad Gawan, there were no prominent rulers, and it has divided into 5 independent Deccan kingdoms: Bidar, Bijapur, Ahmednagar, Berar, and the 5 independent Deccan kingdoms were Bidar, Bijapur, Ahmednagar, Berar, and Golconda. The next thing we are going to see is contribution of Bahmani sultans in architecture. So contribution of Bahmani king is evident in Gulbarga archaeological excavation. So there was a great evidence in Gulbarga archaeological excavation done in the site of the kingdom has helped to unearth palaces, halls, public audiences. So that archaeological thing depicts the palaces, public audiences, domes, walls and cathedrals. These finds are illustrative of their architectural skills. So these excavation shows the archaeological Bahmani kingdom's architecture. Next we are going to see the education. The founder of the Bahmani kingdom, Alauddin Ahsan Shah. So Alauddin Ahsan Shah was the founder of Bahmani kingdom, was educated at Multan at the initiative of Zabar Khan, a general of Alauddin Khilji. On his occasion, he took special education with the help of him. Gawan has contributed many educational reforms. So the world famous Muhammad Gawan Madrasa in Bidar with a large library containing of 3000 manuscripts. So it is consisting of 3000 manuscripts and which gives important to scholarship and educations by Gawan.